Tonight, or today, I should say, depending on where in the world you are, we are going to be doing the second session of the passion test. And just a quick recap, last week we did the passion test process for Vanetta, who bravely volunteered, and she was very well rewarded. I spoke to her during the week, and she's absolutely ecstatic with her updated list of 5 passions, and I think those people on the call last week would have picked up on how excited she was with that. So we're going to work tonight or today into this second stage of the Flight Plan for Success, and maybe mention a couple of other things along the way. So to begin with, let's just do a quick recap. There was some homework from session 1, and that was to actually create some passion cards. And the easiest way to do that is to just get some normal 3x5-inch cards and write down your top 5 passions, and then place them wherever you can place them so that you can see them every single day, at least a few times a day, so that it remains in your focus. So remember, it's intention, attention, no tension. So that means the intention created by the passion card, the what you want, which is listed here in the 5 choices on this example. What you want to make you feel good. Your why is always the same. It's to enjoy life. It's to feel good. So what is it that you want? The attention is by doing things like putting it on the passion cards and keeping them in view, keeping them in mind. Because most of us know out of sight, out of mind. And before long, we've just managed to be sucked up by the distractions of the 21st century and realize that we're not living our passions. And then finally, it's no tension. No tension represents that you have the faith that as long as you focus on what it is you want, that it will come true for you. You don't know how it's going to come true in many of these cases, but you know that it's going to come true for you. And that brings me on to this little side point that I mentioned, and it's something that's incredibly powerful. And that is from the famous book, Think and Grow Rich. The comment by Napoleon Hill is, what the mind of a person can conceive and believe, they will achieve. And in my experience, human beings tend to have a problem with belief. We don't have a problem when things are going well. We don't have a problem when things are going our way. We don't, in fact, many times mind accepting the credit for that. But can you believe when things are actually not going your way? Can you keep your faith when they're not going your way? When the outer world is suggesting something different than you want. You want to be financially abundant, but your bank account doesn't yet reflect that financial abundance that you want. Can you keep the faith? This is such a crucial element. And then recently, I was reading a book called The Tongue. And I'm going to add another dimension to this. And the dimension is this. Many times, many of the self-help or the personal development books focus on the law of attraction and what we think about, we bring about, etc., etc. But this added dimension, this other point that totally resonates with me is the fact that you must speak it. You must say it out loud. It's a famous minister who said, thank God the word of God is captured in the Bible. It's caught in the Bible. But it is no good unless you actually say it out loud. You have to say the word. The voice creates a resonance that makes a difference. So what I'm suggesting to you on this call is to add one more step in your understanding of the law of attraction. And it's not something that I've seen written in many, if any, personal development books, but you must speak it out loud. So if you've got your passion card on the mirror, then make sure that you look at that. And in this example, it says, my life is ideal when I am having a strong belief in God, enjoying a fantastic relationship with my wife, a successful certified passion test facilitator, speaking to large groups and motivating them, and living a life of abundance on all levels. Speak it out loud. Believe it, even if the outer world it's not reflecting that yet, and it will come to you. But you've got to do the work. And the work is intention, attention, and the faith comes from no tension. I hope you get that point. It's a very, very crucial point. And earlier this week, T. Harv Eker did a webinar, of which I think was one of the best webinars I've ever heard in my 15 years of personal development. And it really released many of the struggles that people have. When somebody on the call said, I don't like my job, I get no satisfaction from my job. Well, Harv Eker, he said, this is tough love coaching. I'm not here going, there, you should change your job and maybe find a better job. He's saying, no, your lower self is never stuck. Your higher self is never stuck. Your higher self is never overwhelmed. Your higher self is free. It's only your lower self that gets stuck. When you're frustrated or looking at something in your bank account that doesn't resonate with you and you feel that is your lower self. Your higher self is free to fly, free to move. But most people are stuck in their lower self. So there's a great freedom in there. How do you get to your higher self? Well, it's simple to say, not so easy to do. And it's simple to say, and it's simply this. Are you living a faith-filled life? Or are you living a fear-driven life? Faith or fear? And I can guarantee that if you are living a fearful life, if you're worried about security, if you're worried about financial security, and you think that having a lot of money is going to solve that problem, solve that fear, well, from personal experience, I can tell you that's not true. Because if it's come from fear, there'll be a new fear. If you get a lot of money in your bank account, a new fear might be afraid to lose it, afraid to make a decision to lose it. So you're still in fear, even though you've met your objective. So start today to think about living a faith-filled life. And I'm telling you, that's the secret. The real secret is the faith to believe in your dreams. You are extraordinary. As my friend Les Brown would say, you have greatness within you. Your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard of what you're capable of right now. And the only reason you haven't got to that point is because you don't fully believe it. There's a bit of fear there. So go for your faith. If you go for these top 5 passions, intention, attention, the no tension, your life will radically change. Okay, so that's it. I get off my bandstand there, but that to me, that conversation creates everything for the rest of your life. Okay, so I hope you did your passion cards. If you haven't done them, make sure that you write them out and put them on the mirror. Okay, now, homework number 2 was about markers. Now, markers are signposts. They're evidence that you have achieved your passions. It helps you know that you're on track and that the things that are important to you are being achieved. So let me quickly share a story of an Indian gentleman by the name of Pankaj Naram. Janet and Chris Atwood had arrived in Delhi and they were staying at Pankaj's house. And it looked like he was packing up to go on a holiday. And so Janet said, Pankaj, are you going on a holiday? And he goes, no, 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 no. I'm going off to set the next 20 years of my life. And Janet says, what do you mean? And he said, haven't I told you my story? And they go, I don't think so. So he said, well, when I was younger, 20 years younger, I used to be an Ayurvedic physician. Now, Ayurvedic medicine is an ancient Indian form of medicine, similar to like Chinese medicine, except Indian. And he said, and I was not a very good one. I wasn't making any money, and I didn't seem to be healing any people. And one day, when I was walking out in the streets of Delhi, I saw one of my clients, except he didn't look sickly like he normally did. He looked absolutely fantastic. He was an absolute bill of health. And so I ran up to him and I said, wow, you look fantastic. Did I do that? And the client looked at him and said, no, it was a different master. And so Pankaj said, can you introduce me to this master? And so he did. And then he decided to study under that Ayurvedic master. And one day, when the Ayurvedic master was 107 years old, he turned around to Pankaj and he said, Pankaj, what's most important in your life? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? And Pankaj says, I want to be the most successful Ayurvedic physician in the world. Now, this is pretty strong coming from a young guy who had no money, didn't even have enough money to take the bus fare in Delhi. Let me tell you, the bus fare in Delhi is a few rupees. It doesn't cost much money. So the master said, nodded his head, and then he said, how will you know when you're there? And Pankaj hadn't thought about that. But the master had asked him a question, so we better give him an answer. So he said, I will be the most famous Ayurvedic surgeon in the world when I've taken the pulse of 100,000 people. Now, that's part of Ayurvedic medicine, is actually taking the pulse and checking the health of people by taking your pulse. And so the master said, good, write it down. And as Pankaj completed writing it down, the master then asked him, what else? And Pankaj was thinking, oh, what else? And he goes, I've taken the pulse of the Dalai Lama. And I want you to understand that Pankaj was really a nobody. This is how he thought of himself. He said, I am a nobody from nowhere. And that's how he thought of himself. And he was thinking, how could I, Pankaj Naram, be possibly thinking about taking the pulse of the Dalai Lama? Who am I kidding? But his master said, good, write it down. And the master then said, what else? And he said, when I have, or Mother Teresa will come and acknowledge me for my work. And as ridiculous as that sounded to Pankaj at the time, the master said, good, write it down. And the master said, what else? And Pankaj was thinking, well, I'm just dreaming here, so I might as well make up another one. He said, I have Ayurvedic centers all around the world. And the master said, good, write it down. And now 20 years later, when Janet and Chris is staying in Pankaj's house, he hasn't taken the pulse of 100,000 people. He's taken the pulse of over 1 million people. He is the regular pulse taker of the Dalai Lama. Mother Teresa came to his own clinic in the 80s and acknowledged him for his work with AIDS patients. And he has 16 Ayurvedic centers around the world. How cool is that? So if someone from the streets of Delhi could create markers and all of those come true, then I'm sure you can do the same. And the example here is writing a best-selling novel. So set some markers. Make them big. Your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard what you're capable of when you set your mind in motion with intention, attention, and no tension. So put it down, sell 1 million books, and that you're featured on Oprah, and that your novel is made into a feature film. Why not? And remember, these are evidence. You can prove to people that there you are. There you are on TV, featured on Oprah. So Homework number 2, and if you haven't done it, this is giving you a little bit more depth to help you with this, is to write 2 to 3 markers for each passion. And we make them measurable because we want to know when they've happened. And of course, like everything else we do, we write it in the positive. So here we are again at the passion test. And this is the first step in getting our life into flow, is what are we passionate about? The question we are asking ourselves here is what? What do I love? What is important to me? What do I want? And in Roger Hamilton's book, Wink, he states a couple of times that the end is in the beginning, and the beginning question always starts in the 5th element, which is called water. And the question for water is the ultimate question of life, which is what water provides for us. And the ultimate question for life is why? Why do I want that? Why am I here? So that's the first question. Well, to get to the why, we need to ask the next question. What is it I want so that I can feel good, so that I can enjoy my life? And that's the passion. This session today will be the final session for the passion. And I'm so excited because on the next call next week, we're going to go into talent. And I'm a wealth dynamics master practitioner. That means I've been studying this one word for nearly 10 years. And we're going to be going into the wealth dynamic profile in detail. And you'll discover that not a day goes by or not a decision I make is based around this word. And that is, who am I? And as we look at the questions and the flow of nature from spring to summer to autumn to winter, we will discover that there is a flow on questions, which is why, what, which is passion, who is talent, when is knowledge, how is network, and why is purpose. There is a flow. So moving back onto session 2, this is what I hope you've done over the last week, is that you've clarified your passions, you've completed your homework, and remember, where you place your attention is habit. So 21 days of consistently applying a new behavior, you can change any habit. All that is required is the will to make it change. Can you? I know you can. Will you? We'll see. One way of doing it is to get a rubber band and put it on your wrist and to remind yourself. Some people like to, when they have create a thought of something they don't want, they actually use the rubber band to pull it and sting their hand so they don't have that thought. But you wear that rubber band or a black and white or a string around your hand to remind you that you've got to go and have a look at your passion cards every day and look at your markers. So, do you understand why we need to write markers for each of our top 5 passions? Let me explain to you this. When you do your passion cards, you're giving attention to your passion. When you're doing your markers, you're giving attention to your passions. So these are all part of the process to keep attention onto your passions. The markers are extremely important. They're setting the guideline of where you want to be in your life. They're not necessarily goals. Sometimes they sound like goals, and it's actually fine to treat them as goals, but they're not exactly goals. They're just signposts along the way to getting wherever it is that you want to go to. What you will discover as you focus on intention, attention, no tension, that when you choose in favor of your passions consistently, and I want to remind you of something very important here. And I mentioned it on the previous call. Whenever you are faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, choose in favor of your passions. Look at your passion card and find out whether that is your passion. I will share a story with you. about this. Before I understood about how this worked, I went into a business relationship with a partner, and I had known this person for a long time. And the deal was about creating online accounting programs. And what's fascinating about that is that I'm a people person and I have no interest in accounting programs. And I chose to go into that investment purely as a matter of greed, as what would get out of it. And in that particular investment, I lost millions of dollars. It was not my passion. It was not my path. So make sure you apply your passions to the choices and decisions and opportunities that show up in your life. It's very important. Okay, something new. Something called Nature's Guidance System. Now, there's a great ebook out called From Sad to Glad, and it talks about how we feel as human beings. In the normal wave of nature, we go through expansion phases where we feel good and powerful, and we go through contraction phases where things don't seem to be working out for us. And I've got down here, did you read From Sad to Glad? Well, some of you may have because I've sent it to you. Some of you may not have. Whoever's on the call here, I will send the e-copy to you on the next email, so you'll be able to read it. It's a fantastic book. Okay. What I really want to focus on here is that contraction, that part that us humans don't necessarily like, that part where we're not feeling good about ourselves or good about other people or the situation that we're in. Well, it's a great opportunity. It's a fantastic opportunity. And I'm going to go more into that in a moment. But what that's all about is to be easy with yourself, to be kind to yourself. And, you know, this reminds me once again of the webinar that Harv was on, the makeover coaching webinar that Harv was on earlier this week. And he said a couple of major points. And he said, in this case, that the most important thing in life, and he wished he had understood this many years ago, was to be present, to practice being present, to practice being in the now. And the second most important thing that he said was to be kind to yourself. Well, guess what? When you have one of these feelings of contraction in your life, when things aren't going the way you want them to go, this is a signal, a signpost to be kind to yourself. It's a signal from nature to stop whatever it is you're doing, take some time, and be kind to yourself. If you get this one concept, it can change your life radically. You're going in the wrong direction. You're doing something you're probably not supposed to be. You're probably not following your talent, or you're not following your passion, and you're going down this road when you should actually be stopping and thinking and relaxing and being kind to yourself. You've got to come back to yourself, your inner self. So what's so great about nature's guidance system is that it's like our own red and light traffic signal. When when the light is green, go. When the light is red, slow down and stop. The universe, God, whatever name you put onto that higher power, is constantly sending messages for us to receive. And it's a feeling. So pay attention to those feelings. Pay attention to the self. So let's have a look at some of the words that make us feel contracted. Depressed, fearful, unhappy, anxious, angry, frustrated, irritated, disconnected, separated. These feelings are a sign. Slow down. Stop. Maybe you're going the wrong way. We want to feel expanded, loving, giving, open, excited. When we're feeling those things, those feelings, that's a sign that, yeah, we are on the right path. We're doing what it is that we're supposed to be doing, and we're loving life. Okay, so here's what you do when you go into contraction. If you get this, this will change your life. This one thing right now will change your life. The minute you feel contraction, it's a sign to stop and let go. Let go whatever it is that's causing that contraction. Do something that's fun. Take time out. You won't feel like taking time out because you feel like you've got to get it done. You've got to just keep pushing through. Well, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something's not right. So take the pressure off yourself. We want to have this feeling where we're nurturing ourselves, having fun. There's a message to get inside here. There is something for you to learn. So what we'll do is we'll go inside. We will take time off. We will be gentle to ourselves. We'll be compassionate to ourselves. And then something's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about. It always happens. You're going to get an insight. You're going to get an aha. Anthony Robbins calls it the breakthrough. When people say, I'm frustrated, like when you go to an Anthony Robbins event, and quite often somebody put their hand up and say, Tony, I'm frustrated, and everybody just bursts into applause because it's the breakthrough is coming. The frustration is the signal that something is coming, an aha, a message. And once you've got that message, you can then move forward. You will go into expansion and move forward. So there's 7 steps to Nature's Guidance System. And, this is in the book that I'm going to send to you if you don't already have it. But the first thing you've got to do, first of all, is some people are running around so hard, they don't even notice. So just stop and notice. And the very next thing you want to do is breathe. Now, here's a very, very interesting thing that Harv said. Harv and his partner Michelle had just come back from a 4-day retreat. I think it was a 4-day retreat where they were focused on being present. And he said, you know what? I'm a big Eckhart Tolle fan. So if you want to go out and read The Power of Now, or even better, his later book called A New Earth, which is such a powerful book. You see, the problem is most of us are worried about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. And, there's a great saying I say to my 3 little boys, and it's this. I said, and they know it now, right? And you all know it. Tomorrow is a mystery. Yesterday is history. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. The only way, sorry, not the only way, what I love about what Harv said is when you breathe, you can only be in the now. You can't have a past breath or a future breath. So when you breathe slowly, when you notice your breathing, and yoga and so many ancient forms concentrate on the breathing. I was just listening to Arnie Schwarzenegger, which I sent everybody on the call here. I sent you that to watch, and he said when you're training focus, he's focusing his breath and on every single muscle when he's doing it, when he's building it for that level. So breathe. And of course, we all know that whenever we get upset or frustrated, which is a contraction, if we just breathe and take 3 deep breaths, you can actually start to get over that negative feeling. Then you're going to ask God, or the universe, or what works for you, allow me to be open again. You're going to say, allow me to be open again. I don't want to have judgment against that person. Allow me to be open. And then you're going to go into the feeling. You're not going to avoid it. You're going to go there because you're nurturing yourself now. You're taking yourself, you're being kind to yourself. You're taking time out. So you're going to go into that feeling. And you're going to have these questions. Why am I feeling like this? Why is all that happening? You're going to feel all the sensations in your body, right? You're gonna feel what, if you need to cry, you cry. If you need to go out and scream, you scream. But feel those sensations. And then you can use tools, all sorts of tools. You can do tapping techniques, listen to music, go for a walk in the forest or by the beach, so that you're actually being compassionate with yourself and you're actually coming out of it now. You're looking for the message. You see, once you've got the aha, once you've got what the learning is, Now you can start to bring yourself by using all these wonderful tools that calm you down. And then you go and communicate clearly to the people. If there are people involved, go and communicate. You're not doing that anymore, or I need to have somebody helping me with this, or I need to go out and create a new team. Okay? Good or good? It's fantastic.
Good.
It's really good. It really works. So, so start practicing this nature's guidance system. Okay. Now, you can take a piece of paper and draw a vertical line on it, etc., etc. What I'm going to do, this is the easy way. I'm just going to show you the picture. Okay. So this is what we're trying to do. You take a vertical line, and you can, if you want to explain this to people, okay, you just put joy and fulfillment at the top. You draw that vertical line on the piece of paper. On one side, you write expansion. On one side, you write contraction. And you put those words in that I described before. And so this is what happens. I'll take you through the process. It's pretty cool. Okay. When you're feeling expanded, continue to move in the direction of joy and fulfillment. Oops. Continue moving in the direction of joy and fulfillment. So I'm going to move that back and you'll see that. So you're feeling expanded. Use those words. You know, be open with people. Tell them, like I was just talking with Janet Atwood today. And I love talking to Janet Atwood because she's, you know, she just, you know, she calls me her love bunny, and she just says, oh, she just says such beautiful words that just make me feel so good. And I say to her, oh, you know, I love the way that you talk to me. I wish I could learn to talk that well with other people. If I could be that open without worrying about what other people think, you know, it's so beautiful. So take that time to move into it. Now, if you do that, you are going to move in the direction of greater joy and fulfillment. One of the great things to do is say thank you. You have a great time, thank you. Thank somebody. Somebody's on the street busking and their music touches your soul. Give them some money. Give money, give in the inspiration so that you feel good for what happened. Now, if
Mm.
you're feeling contracted, whatever your thoughts or actions, if you continue to head in that direction, you continue to feel or think or of words like this, you will continue to go down this road. We know that until you get into depression, etc. So what we're saying is go back into the 7-step process. Notice how you're feeling, not feeling great. Then start breathing, deep breaths, and you'll already start working down that track of those 7 steps. And we don't know how long it's going to take. Sometimes it might take 10 minutes, an hour, a week. God, can you imagine? You take a week being kind to yourself. Don't worry about you got to get things done, right? Those things, you just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Just change things around. I said, when you live this way and living this passionate life, um, things just show up. Everything you need show up. Okay, so just to check on this, how often do you do something because you believe that it's necessary or you have to do it? And so you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And what I'm suggesting to you is be kind to yourself. Find a way to be gentle to yourself. And there's only 3 obstacles to living a passionate life. There's a false belief that you have. There's something inside your belief system that tells you that you've got to work hard for the money. Okay? Or you've got some sort of false idea, or indeed even false concepts. And I think the easiest way, rather than in the interest of time, I'll send you an article along with the ebook that will actually further clarify the false beliefs, false ideas, and false concepts. They're the only 3 obstacles. Once you actually get that you are here to live the life of your dreams, you are here to follow the path of your heart, then whatever obstacles show up in the way, it just becomes part of your character. Okay, so if you continue doing something, even when you feel contracted, you are ignoring a message from nature. It is time to stop, take a look, and start to listen to what's going on around you. If you don't, you know what's in store for us: more unhappiness. So I think I've pushed it enough here. Be easy with yourself. Okay. And that brings us to the end of session 2. Now, and before I go into the Q&A, there was a homework from number 1, which was to do the work by Byron Katie. Now, I'm actually going to take somebody through that tonight. So I'll be looking for a volunteer very shortly. And for now, I'm just going to go on to the other 4 bits of homework. Number 2 is to create your vision board. Now, many of you have created your vision boards. I've cajoled and caressed and done whatever I could over the time to get you to create your vision boards because it's so powerful. So if you haven't created your vision board yet, then I urge you to do so. The best way of doing this, sorry, just excuse me for a second while I move this around, is one of the best ways that I've come across, which I like, is, I'm just going to put this in the chat, is, okay, I'll put you in the chat here. I'm going to put, okay, now, thank you for your wonderful messages. Now, it looks like you're all not muted. You should all be able to talk. Sandra, can you talk? Let me just try again here. I'll just mute you all, and then I'll unmute Sandra. And Sandra, can you talk now?
I can talk. Yes.
Okay, there, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the program that I like is called Magic Future. Let me see if I can type that out here. Yeah. Most of you, if not all of you, have this already. Okay, so go on to Magic Future and create your vision board. If you don't want to do it digitally, then do it by cutting out magazines and putting those pictures on there. Right, so number 2 is to create your vision board. Homework number 3 is to write out your passion pages. What that means is that you take each of your 5 passions and you write 1 page on each. What would your passion look like? How would that show up in your life? Once again, what we're really doing here is focusing your attention onto your passions. Every one of these exercises is about creating attention. You've done the work already. You've created the top 5 passions. That's called intention. Now it's about keeping your attention onto them, and that's why these exercises have been created. Vision boards, put it up on the wall or keep it on your computer. I like Magic Future because it's on all of my computers and iPhones, and in fact, many of you on this call, I have your vision boards on my computer screensaver. So I'm always looking at your vision boards, and it's such a wonderful feeling. And so write your passion pages, 1 page on each of your passions, and then finally, homework number 4 is to write out your 100th birthday speech as if somebody was going to speak it for you. You know, what your life has been like. What incredible things have you done? What incredible things have you yet to do? So get a feel for it. You know, we are all going to die one day, so don't, many people are living, but they're really dead. So sometimes people have to get close to dying before they really start to live. How many times do we hear that? So start living today. And if you're following your passions, there's a thing that will occur called JIT, just in time. Whatever money you need, whatever resources you need will show up just in time as long as you have the faith. Okay, I'll just mute you there. Right, so before I go into the work and just run through that, I'm going to actually unmute you all again here. And let's just do a quick Q&A or questions, Q&A answer session. Anybody got any questions on anything that I've said so far?
Right, the 100th birthday speech.
Was that Manyi? Any questions so far on what I've said?
Les, it's Nick. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody and unmute you. So welcome, Nick.
With the vision board, are we better off to actually have it our own actually handwriting or typing? What's better in your opinion? I know it's a bit of a silly question, but
No, it's a great question. Thank you. No, when it comes to vision boards, the most important thing is to have one done. The most important thing is to have it in view. Now, I like both sides. I've just come back, as most of you would be aware, from Les Brown's seminar in Singapore a few weekends ago, and we did a wonderful exercise where people brought in the magazines, and we were given time to actually, rip the pages out and create our vision board, and nobody was allowed to talk. And at the same time, you had to actually work in collaboration with people to help people with their dreams, and cutting out pictures and whatnot. And it was an absolutely silent event as people under time pressure. So you had to rush and look for your dreams in a number of different magazines and get it done. And the results are staggering. So maybe a great way to do this is give yourself, an hour or 2 hours and don't go a bit more. You put yourself under pressure to get those dreams. But in answer to your question, Nick, I use both types. And in fact, there's even a link that I can send you all that you can actually create your own video. So you create your own video vision board, your digital video boards, a vision board, which I actually keep even on my iPhone. My main picture on iPhone is my vision board. So I'm always looking at my vision board. So I'd suggest both ways, Nick.
Okay.
Great. Thank you for your question.
No, thank you.
Anybody else with a question before we move on to the work? And if you do have a question, you can just type it in the chat box below, and then I can unmute you. Let me unmute everybody. Okay, here we go. We have a question from Sandra. So there you go, Sandra. The floor is open.
Thank you. More than a question, I suppose I just wanted to share because I actually have my big vision board on my wall next to my bed that I just make myself with colors and my top 5 passions and the things I wanted. And I have to say that I have it as my screensaver both on my phone and my computer. And I also did little video from my movies with the same photos and the same affirmations and things that I have. And,
Beautiful.
I have to say I keep on changing it every so often because a lot of what I put in there actually comes true for me. And I suppose it's that whole inundating myself of, having it front of mind all the time that really works in between the video and having it on my phone and seeing it on my wall all the time. And
absolutely,
a lot of my gratitude exercises I do in the morning, I do them based on that. I saying thanks for that tiny little step that just got me closer. And I truly believe that having it front of mind helps a lot to make it true.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. In fact, that's what it's called, Mind Movie. I remember that now. So if you all go to mindmovie.com, you can actually create your own video vision board, which is such a great idea. And I also like the idea of the screensaver, Sandra, because the screensaver actually jolts into view, and all of a sudden you're looking at if you leave it in one spot all the time, we do tend not to look at it. Whereas I notice when the screensaver comes up, sometimes I find myself, I'm in my office and I'm not using the computer, and then the screensaver, your screensaver I have on my computer as well as many other people, and it'll come up and I'll find myself looking at people's vision boards, and I find it absolutely fabulous. So yeah, as many different places as possible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sandra.
Thank you.
So I'm going to move on now to thework.com, and probably the easiest way that I could do this is I might get all of you, if you have the capability, if you're on a computer right now, some of you might be on the phone, but on a computer, and just go to thework.com. And I'm going to bring it up on my computer. And we'll see how we go here. I'm in Ningbo in China today, so any Facebook applications probably won't work. Okay, so here we go. This is this lady here was Byron Katie. So can you all see my computer screen? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So now, who to be our bold, brave guinea pig tonight, and we'll go through a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Any takers? Okay, don't be shy. I see there's a lot of you there. So who's going to give us something? Otherwise, I'm going to have to tell you about my experience with dog poo. And you don't want to hear that. Oh, you can't hear me anymore. Really? Okay. All right. Hang on a second. Audio.
Now I can.
Okay, I'm back on. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the messages, everybody. Thank you. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so let me ask the question again. So, who would like to volunteer to do a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet? Don't be bashful.
Yeah.
How about you, Julia? You've just come online. Welcome. Would you like to be bold and brave and be our guinea pig for the Judge Your Neighbor this evening or today? Hey, what happened to all my brave people?
Hello?
Oh, Julia, are you going to volunteer?
Yes, I will.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to mute everybody else. And thank you for volunteering. And I'm going to unmute you, Julia. So welcome. So is there something recently, even today, that bothered you or upset you or disappointed you in some way?
Yes, crazy drivers.
Taxi drivers?
No, drivers.
Did you say brothers? So there was just a little bit of background noise there. So just give that. So do you see can you see my screen there, Julia?
Yes.
And can you see question 1? It says I am, and then state the emotion with somebody because. So what was your emotion?
Angry.
Okay, you're angry with who?
I don't know the name.
Okay, so let's. What was this person doing? What was that word you gave me before?
Oh, it was a driver.
A driver. Okay, so it's a driver of
Yes.
some sort.
Yes.
So let's give him a name, shall we? Shall we give him the name Bill?
Yes.
Or are you upset with driver? Or are you angry with drivers in general?
No, just the one driver.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to call him Bill. Is that okay?
Yep.
Wonderful. And you're angry with Bill because why?
He cut right in front of me.
Ah, road rage. Okay, he cut you off.
Yes, he did.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so here's the first thing that I want you to do. So I am angry with Bill because he cut me off. And I want you to ask this question. The question is it true? Is it true that Bill cut you off?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And can you absolutely know that it's true?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So in both cases, this is a yes. Bill absolutely cut you off.
Yes.
Okay, great. So in this situation, how do you want Bill to change? What do you want Bill to do?
Pay attention.
Okay, so you want Bill to pay attention. Okay. So then, what advice would you give to Bill? Bill should or Bill shouldn't what?
Bill should look in his blind spot.
Okay, Bill should look in his blind spot. Fabulous. Anything else?
There's other things, but I
Yep,
should.
he should pay more attention. He should look in his blind spot. Anything else?
Yes, he should pay more attention.
Okay, great. So in order for you not to be angry in this situation, in order for you to be happy, what do you need Bill to do? Or say, or think, or feel?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, in order for you to be happy about this situation, happy today, what do you need Bill to be thinking about, or to say, or to feel, or to even do? What do you need Bill to do in order for you to be happy?
Apologize.
Okay, good. So you need Bill to apologize. Okay. All right. So, did he apologize?
No.
Okay. So, what do you think of Bill in this situation? Bless you. So, what do you think about Bill?
A maniac?
Okay, he's a maniac. Anything else?
It's not appropriate to say.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so let's try and keep it clean. So,
Yes.
what else do you feel about Bill? What do you think of him?
What do I think of him? any clean versions?
Is he dangerous?
Stupid?
He's stupid. Okay. Bill is a maniac. Bill is stupid. Is he? He didn't apologize, so maybe Bill is rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So what in this situation that you experienced today? What is it about this situation that you don't want to ever experience again?
I don't want to ever have to feel scared.
Okay,
again.
you don't want to feel scared. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So, anything else that you don't want to feel about this situation that you don't want to experience again?
Frustration while driving.
Okay. You want to feel frustration. So, and the anger, of course, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So, and what about Bill? What don't you want to feel again about Bill?
There's quite a few things I don't want to feel about Bill.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. Tell me about those things.
I'm trying to think of a cleaner version.
Yep, that's okay. It doesn't have to be cleaner. Whatever comes up for you, because you've got to go in there and grab it, right?
I don't ever want to see Bill's face again.
Okay. You don't want to see Bill. That sounds like a song, but anyway, you want to see Bill's face again. Okay. Anything else about Bill and what Bill represents?
Not at the top of my head.
Yeah. So it's a feeling, right? So what does Bill represent in this case? Because we don't really know Bill, do we?
No.
Bill represents something. So
mainly anger.
What does Bill represent for you?
Mainly anger.
Okay, it's anger, but what did Bill do? He cut you off, yeah, and he put you in a dangerous situation.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't want to feel in this dangerous situation.
No.
So you don't want Bill to put you in danger.
No.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And Bill, of course, right now is really just you don't want any drivers to put you in danger.
Yes.
Okay, so did you lose control? Did you feel like you were out of control?
Yes. Yes.
You did or no? Were you on your own?
No, I was not on my own.
Did you have your children in the car?
Yeah.
You had your children in the car?
I had my kids in my car.
Yeah. Your kids were in the car?
Yes.
So your kids are in danger?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the thought here is, how do you? We've got to get to the thought here. You don't want to ever. What was you right? I don't want to feel scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't want Bill to scare you again, or you don't want other drivers to scare you again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really Bill here. You don't want drivers to scare you again. Yeah?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have established that it is true, and that actually this driver actually cut you off.
Yes.
Okay. And that you have this feeling for Bill, that Bill put you in danger.
Yes.
And so how do you feel when you recall what happened today, that Bill put you in danger? How does that make you feel?
Scared.
Okay, scared. Okay, so who would you be without the thought of being scared?
I think I've lost you.
Yep. What, have you lost my voice, or you've lost my question?
Les, I think I have lost you.
You've lost my voice. Can you?
I can't hear anything.
Can everybody else hear me?
Hello.
Okay. Manye, can you still hear me?
I can hear statics.
Am I back? Oops.
No. Can't hear you at all. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how that happened, but I muted myself. I'm back again. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me now? Okay, so the bottom line here is, do you get scared?
Yes.
Do you get scared when you're driving your car?
Yes.
Okay, so how does that feel? How do you feel? How do you react for yourself when you feel scared? What happens when you feel scared? What happens to you?
I cry.
Okay, all right. So it's not a good feeling.
No.
So who would you be without the thought of being scared?
Who would I be?
So what would life be like for you if you didn't think about being scared a lot?
I'll be at peace.
You'd be at peace. Okay, you'd be at peace. Okay. So it's a little bit different. It's not quite what I wanted to get out of this, the belief system, because it's actually the turnaround here is it's actually Bill was just a catalyst for you to feel scared, which what I'm guessing here is you feel scared quite often. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you're scared when you're driving the car. Okay. Okay. Great. And if you didn't have that thought about being scared, then you would be at peace, and driving would be a whole different exercise. Be a more fun exercise. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So while you believe the thought that driving is dangerous, you put yourself in prison in your own mind. And if you didn't believe that driving was dangerous, then you would be at peace and you would probably enjoy driving more often. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you're at peace, how would that make you feel?
Happy.
Yeah, make you feel happy, make you feel good. So thank you, Julie, because what we're getting to is when we do a judge my neighbor sheet, which is really just us judging our thoughts about what happens to us, maybe by other people or we do it to ourselves, we are not feeling good. And many of you would be aware that the ultimate aim of life is to feel good. So the reason why we're doing the passion test is to get clear about what it is we want in life so that we would feel good. And through the law of attraction, we want, if we are transmitting feeling good, then we're going to attract more things that feel good to us. Does that make sense? we go. I see it now.
Yeah, we lost you again.
No, that's all right. I'm back again. I think somebody's muting me. Okay, so, all right. So let me just repeat that again. If the ultimate aim of life is to be happy, which is what most, if not everybody I've ever met wants, is to be happy. And if we believe in the law of attraction, that what we think about, we bring about. If we want to attract more things into our life to feel good, then doesn't it make sense that we should be feeling good right now?
Mm-hmm.
If we're feeling good, we're transmitting on Feeling Good FM. If we're transmitting Feeling Good FM, we're going to be receiving Feeling Good FM, just like a radio station. But if I start getting scared, I'm now transmitting on Scared FM, and I'm receiving Scared FM. And guess who comes at me when I'm transmitting Scared FM? People like Bill. You get it?
I get it.
Yeah. So we want to be transmitting on Peace FM. So more peace is coming to us. So the whole purpose of the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet is to take any event that doesn't make us feel good and turn it around so that we start feeling good and start transmitting on Feeling Good FM. That's the whole purpose of it. And we can, it's just like you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe on the table at the end of the bed, and then all of a sudden you don't feel good, and then other things happen to you, and your whole day just starts turning into not a nice day. Have you ever had a day like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's because we're attracting it to us. So whenever you have an incident like that again today, then just sit down and do a Judge Your Neighbor. Once again, I shared before, I used to have this problem with dogs pooing on my front lawn. So the problem was that after the dog left and the dog owner left, and I love dogs, so don't get me wrong here, I love it, but there were just so many of these dogs pooing on my front lawn that I would get so angry. And by being angry, I would be hanging on to something and it wouldn't make me feel good, and therefore I'm not attracting good things into my life. And it was finally when I did a Judge Your Neighbor on that, I was actually able to release that and feel okay about it. I can still take steps and put a sign up and ask people nicely, but I'm not attached to it anymore. It's not creating a bad feeling for me. I'm no longer in prison, and I can get on and continue to transmit Feeling Good FM and attract more great things to me. So thank you, Julia. Thank you so much for being our brave and bold volunteer tonight.
Thank you.
And I'm going to just open up the line here. And so everybody's not muted right now. Could everybody give Julia a big round of applause, please? Woo, Julia! Good job. Hey, that sounds like a standing ovation. So, all right, thank you very much, everyone. And I'm going to close off in a moment, but what I'd like to do just before I go, any questions about the passion test, the passion cards, the markers, the work, Byron Katie, which we just did, the sad to glad, the contraction and expansion phases, writing out your vision board, your passion pages, or your 100th birthday. There's a lot there. Any questions on any of those?
Yes, I have one on the work.
Okay, is that Julia again?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Julia.
How do you fight a fear that is deeper than what it is?
Okay, all right. So for that type of, if it's really deep fear, then obviously these things that I'm talking about are fairly simple ones and fairly easy to release, especially with a bit of training. And once again, that's a great question. I want to urge everybody to just go and do a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Every time something comes up for you, trust me, it'll free your life. Now, Julie, if it's really deep, then normally you would probably want to find a behavioral coach or a behavioral counselor to make those changes. And in fact, I just received something on that today. So if you'd like, if it's something that's personal to you, I can actually send you that. There's a change behaviorist wellness coach somewhere in Australia who's actually offering a free service to change a behavior or a deep fear.
Okay.
Normally, people use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to get rid of deep fears. And with do we have any NLP people on the line? If you find a good NLP practitioner, they can normally get rid of a deep fear, sometimes just in a matter of minutes. Okay, great. So, okay, so I'm just going to mute everybody again there. There's a little bit of background noise. So, once again, everybody, thank you so much for being on this call. That is the end of the Passion for now. I will send you the copy of From Sad to Glad. Next week, we are going to be doing, it's going to be on the 21st of July. We're going to start one of my favorite subjects and something I've studied for so many years, which is wealth dynamics. It's answering the question, who are you? Who are you really? And we're going to go through, I've already got some people who've got profiles, so we're going to go through each of the different profiles. And I promise you, if you haven't seen anything like this before, you're going to be quite taken back.